You are Locked On Giants Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Bay Area, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Giants Postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KMBR. And today we got extra baseball, but the Giants couldn't pull it out, falling 4-3 to the Pittsburgh Pirates, wasting another Jordan Hicks start. Hicks looked great on the mound again today, but the Giants offense let him down and couldn't give him the run support he needed to pick up the win. The same old song and dance for the 2024 Giants. So Jorge Soler did hit a moonshot in extra innings to keep it close, and hopefully that turns his absolutely dreadful slump around. We'll break it all down, but first, I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Sports Bay Area YouTube channel. Please hit that subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed. If you're getting us on the Locked On Giants podcast feed, thanks for tuning in there. However you're getting the show, we appreciate it. And make sure to check out the Locked On Giants Daily Show for more in-depth coverage. Ben Kaspick does a great job. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150 win or lose. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. Jordan Hicks, man, dominant in this one, despite not picking up the win. He threw a ton of splitters tonight. That pitch is becoming absolutely elite for him. We'll talk about that later on in the show. But Jordan Hicks today, another 6 innings pitched in no walks, 9 strikeouts, season high 9 strikeouts. I think that might be a career high for Hicks as well. 5 hits and 1 run for him in the 6 innings of work, no walks. And this was big because last time that we saw him on the mound, he didn't have any strikeouts and he issued a season high 4 walks. So he clearly righted the ship today. And that's a good sign for the Giants going forward. However, the Giants offense is lethargic, abysmal. I mean, can't hit. Just flat out can't hit. Couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat right now. I mean, these guys are struggling. Pat Bailey has been nice at the dish, obviously. Last night we saw the heroics. I mean, there's been a few bright spots for the Giants so far. Jung-Hoo Lee obviously has been nice for the Giants at the dish this season. But outside of those two guys, Lamont Wade Jr. too has been having a nice year. Outside of those guys, it's been tough. Conforto has been streaky. There have been moments where he's been good. There's also been moments where he's been bad. Chapman, same thing. He's had games that make you go, okay, he's coming back. And then he's had games that make you say, no, he's not, at least on the offensive side. Defensive side of the ball, Chapman gives you everything that you thought you were going to get in him. And that's why he's gonna get a little bit of a break for this one, I think. But guys like Jorge Soler, yes, I know he went yard tonight, but we got to talk about the slump that he's been in. And hopefully, this breaks him out of it. It was kind of a meaningless home run in the 9th inning. It did shrink the lead to 1 run, but let's be honest. Did you guys really feel like the Giants were coming back in this one? Because I honestly really did not. I felt that they were dead in the water. I was going over the game notes today, and the Giants have scored a ton of runs in the 7th inning or later in baseball. One of the top teams in scoring runs late in games, but you got to have offense in more than just 3 innings out of the game, right? Like, you got to play from start to finish. A baseball game is 9 innings, not 3. So you need offense from start to finish. You can't just have one swing of the bat that nets you all of your runs in a game. Wilmer Flores did have a RBI double earlier in this one that actually put the Giants ahead in the 6th inning. It set up Hicks to look like he was going to be in line for a win. That run came after Nick Ahmed reached base on a fielding error by the shortstop, who was not O'Neal Cruz today, because I don't know if you guys noticed this, but yesterday he came into third kind of awkwardly late in the game, kind of came up limping. They went and checked on him. He stayed in the game, I think, last night, but he did not play tonight. So backup shortstop makes an error. Nick Ahmed reaches base safely, takes second after a Joey Bart bobble behind the plate. We have all seen that plenty of times as Giants fans, but it was actually ruled a wild pitch. It did hit the dirt. I don't know how that's a wild pitch or a pass ball. Honestly, like I know that ball was not caught cleanly, but it was so quick, so brief that it was just a second. And Nick Ahmed just got a great jump, man, and his secondary lead was excellent. That was textbook. That's exactly what they teach you in Little League. Get a hard secondary lead, and if you think you can make it, if something goes awry and you think you can take second, then do it. That's exactly what Ahmed did, and Flores rewarded the Giants. Great base running with a double in the gap that scored Ahmed, put the Giants up 1-0, but then they come right back out in the top of the 7th, and a pair of singles puts runners on first and second for the Pirates. A Joey Bart productive ground out moves Connor Joe over to third base with 1 out, and Rowdy Tellez sac fly scores forever Giant Connor Joe from third, tied it up 1 apiece there. Top of the 9th inning, there's kind of a sketchy ending to that. Camilo Doval came out again, and he's been pitching a lot today, or not today, but this week after having a slow ramp up to the season. We have seen Camilo a lot lately, which I don't have any complaints. I love me Camilo Doval, and but it was a little bit sketchy there to end the 9th inning. Both Doval and Wilmer tried to field a ground ball that was dribbled down the first baseline, and nobody covered the bag. Doval looked up at the last second and noticed, when he realized he wasn't going to be able to cut that ball off, that Wilmer was in position to field the ball and not cover the bag. So Doval switches direction right at the last second, and he's sprinting and changes direction right at the last second to head towards the bag, makes a really awkward stretch to snag a very high feed from Wilmer, and managed to step on first and avoid contact with the base runner coming down the line. And who says pitchers aren't athletes, man? Like, Doval looked nice on that play, looked nimble. Like, to go from a full sprint to be able to stop like that, he's a big dude, so to be able to have that kind of body control. I mean, don't tell Camilo Doval that pitchers aren't athletes, because he looked the part tonight. Another clean inning from Camilo Doval. And then in the bottom of the 9th inning, I thought for a second we were going to have back to a repeat of last night. And Pat Bailey comes up and lifts one to the warning track, but he can't repeat last night's heroics. The catch is made in the dirt in front of the wall, and that was that for the Giants in the bottom of the 9th. Top of the 10th, former Giants prospect Brian Reynolds, who I have always loved this guy, and I did not like when they let him go. It made sense at the time. The trade did make sense, but man, you just hate to see former Giants top prospects that you knew were going to work out come back and hurt you directly. And tonight, that's exactly what happened. Brian Reynolds and Cabrian Hayes go back-to-back. Reynolds hits a 2-run jack in the top of the 10th with that stupid Manfred runner. We haven't had a chance to discuss extra innings on this show yet this season, but my God, do I hate the Rob Manfred runner at second base. That is the most just trash rule change I've ever heard of in any sport ever. Like, who wants this besides Rob Manfred? Show me one person who likes this rule. I hate it. I absolutely despise. This is not baseball, man. This feels like some like coach pitch crap, like in T-ball when you can just run to first. It doesn't matter if you're out or whatever. You just want to let all the kids bat. That's what this feels like. You want to let everyone get a chance to run the bases. So let's put someone out there at second base. That's garbage. I'm sorry. This is professional baseball. Play the damn game. Anyways, that Reynolds shot should have been a solo shot if the stupid Manfred runner wasn't up there. Either way, puts the Pirates up 4-1. Both home runs come off of Taylor Rogers, who Taylor Rogers has not been very good this season for the Giants. They've used him, in pretty sporadic ways this year, but man, he is not pitching super great this season. His expected slugging percentage right now is over 400. I mean, it's bad. It's bad, man. I feel like every time Rogers comes into a game, Taylor, not Tyler, but I feel like the Giants just kind of limp through. I mean, rough. That's not the arm I wanted to see coming out of the bullpen in a tie game late in this one in extra innings, but the bullpen's throwing a lot of innings lately, and they are kind of thin right now. They've been doing a lot of work down there, and that's what happens when you have starting pitchers who can't go very deep in games. And for as good as the Giants pitching staff has been, they've not pitched super deep in a lot of games this year. And I'm going to actually steal a stat right now from one of my friends, Walter Ikabalseta. You guys might know him on KMBR doing some Giants pregame stuff, producer of Pop and London in the middays. But he actually was telling me some stats about the Giants and how 6 innings pitched is the magic number for this team. Coming into today, they were 11-3 when the starter goes 6 innings pitched or more. It's pretty solid. That's almost every single Giants win has come from a starter going 6 innings or more. They only have 13 on the season. After the loss today, they fall to 11-4. That's still a pretty damn good win-loss percentage. And that's a pretty interesting marker because that's very telling of this bullpen. I mean, you look tonight, they had to work a little bit longer. You had that extra inning that the bullpen had to work, and it made the difference because the Giants did have to go into the 10th inning. You basically say like that one extra inning of bullpen work could be equated to the starter coming out in the 5th inning and having to have an extra inning of work, and that being kind of the differentiating factor in this one was just that one extra inning of work for the bullpen. They couldn't get it done. And the bullpen's been up and down this season. There have been moments on this podcast where I felt that they were figuring it out and they look like they have the talent to be one of the best bullpens in baseball. I mean, the stuff that each one of these guys has. I mean, Eric Miller is dominant. His stuff is electric. Landon Roop, when he is on, he is on. Like, a lot of these guys are really, 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 really talented in the bullpen. Also, like Camilo Doval, Luke Jackson, who's been hurt this year, he should be a great setup guy. Like, this bullpen is deep. Tyler Rogers, not Taylor, but Tyler has been pitching great. He's appeared in half the Giants games that they've played this year, and he's been pretty solid too, which is nice to see because he's had an up and down tenure as a Giant. It seems like you don't really know which guy you're going to get season to season, but this season looks like we got the good Rogers, Tyler, not Taylor. Again, the submarine guy, not Taylor, but Taylor Rogers couldn't get the job done in extra innings. Giants fall after that pair of back-to-back jacks. They did, like I said in the top of the show, come back in the bottom of the 10th, and Soler hit a moonshot about halfway up the left field bleachers. 2-run home run cuts the lead to 4-3. It was the 5th home run of the season for Soler, and I believe this was his first home run that was not a solo shot. I mean, there was a runner in scoring position. There was a runner in second base. That stupid Manfred runner. Anyways, 109.8 off the bat, 433 feet. And it's good to see him coming through with a runner in scoring position. That has been a huge issue for Soler, a massive one that we got to talk about on the other side. We're going to take a quick break, but on the other side, Jorge Soler, please, for the love of God, break out of this slump and fix this Giants batting lineup. It will create so many more opportunities for the Giants to click on offense. I'll explain more on the other side. Stick with us on the Locked On Giants postcast. I am your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We will be right back. This Mother's Day, get something thoughtful for mom on DoorDash. Surprise her from wherever you are with fresh bouquets, the latest tech, gift cards, self-care treats, and more to make her day that much more special. Pair flowers with a gift card so she can celebrate any way she wants. Is mom a bookworm? I know mine is. Try a bookstore gift card. Does she love a good latte? Get a gift card to her favorite coffee shop. You can't go wrong. Get the thoughtful gifts she deserves with the convenience you need. Choose same-day delivery or schedule a week ahead for when flowers and gifts should arrive to her door with DoorDash. I know my mom always taught me to save money, so I try to shop with savings in mind that would make her proud. That's why I have a DoorDash Dash Pass, and you should get it too. With a Dash Pass membership, you save with a $0 delivery fee and reduced service fees on eligible orders from Dash Pass merchants that meet the minimum subtotal. Other fees, including service fees, apply. Terms apply also. Get all your Mother's Day gifts all in one place and get 50% off your next order, up to $15 when you spend $15 or more on your next flower, convenience, grocery, or retail order now with code LOCKEDONMLB. That's LOCKEDONMLB. Order using DoorDash today. Terms apply. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel, and tonight the Giants fall 4-3, can't get it done in extras versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now have to settle for trying to take this series tomorrow in the rubber match. No sweep for the Giants in this one, which we were really hoping they were going to because the Pirates have been struggling so much. And I just want the Giants to get back over 500, man, before going back out on the road. They couldn't get it done. So the Giants are 2 games back under 500 now. Getting back to 500 or over 500 will not be possible on this homestand anymore. Best they can hope for is to leave Oracle Park and head to the East Coast 14-15 if they win tomorrow. So the Giants trudge on. Jorge Soler gave you a moment tonight, which we have been looking for a long time so far this season. We've been looking for Jorge Soler all season long, and 5 home runs early on. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not really, I think, what we want to see from Soler. But it's not really the home runs that are the issue. It is it's the lack of hitting with runners in scoring position. Coming into tonight, he was 2 for 21 with runners in scoring position. Actually, excuse me, he was 2 for 23 with runners in scoring position coming into tonight, batting below 100 at the plate, slugging below 100, OPS around 380. Like, this is abysmal, man. This is abysmal numbers. And coming into tonight, when he was up with nobody on and nobody out, his OPS is like over 1,400. His slugging percentage is over 900 in those situations. He is, I guess, a great leadoff hitter right now, but he cannot seem to drive in runs productively. He's a career 797 OPS with runners in scoring position. So this is far, far, far from where he usually sits. But that 797 career OPS with runners in scoring position isn't exactly, something that makes you think like huge power hitter or great RBI machine. Like, this is not what that guy typically does. So point being, I wouldn't be too concerned that Jorge Soler isn't really driving in runs when they're in scoring position. Yeah, I mean, that sounds crazy, but yes, it is concerning that he isn't scoring runs. Like, that's at the most basic level, that is concerning. But what I'm saying here is that isn't where his production usually comes from. Like, we all see what his numbers have been at the end of years. Like, we saw the numbers last year that made the Giants want to go out and sign him. And those numbers all came with him not really tearing the cover off the ball in situations where runners are at second or third base. He can still be a productive player when he's not driving in runners that are on base in scoring position. Sounds crazy, but the numbers back that up. And Soler, I think, obviously, I mean, he's got to improve. Like, you can't get much worse than he has been at the plate. His OPS is like half of what it should be in these situations with runners in scoring position. So he should self-correct to the mean a little bit. Like, data says that should happen. But it's really concerning, man, when he's batting like this, because it makes the Giants have to roll out in order like you saw today, especially on a day when a Mike Yastrzemski gets the day off and you have Austin Slater in the lineup. I feel like there's no other spot for Slater besides first or ninth. I mean, really, in this batting order, Slater has been so unproductive for the Giants. Again, another day where he goes over. He did draw a walk, but that batting average is still, I mean, he's over 100 now, but it's 103. That is so bad. You cannot have your leadoff hitter a batting average of 103. That is terrible. I know that we live in the day where everybody hates the batting average stat for some reason, but I think it's important, how often you get a hit in baseball, especially when you're on a team that doesn't really get a lot of hits. The Giants did pick up 7 of those tonight, but they couldn't really string anything together. The Pirates did a good job of scattering those Giants hits. The Pirates have actually been pretty good on the mound lately, just not at the dish. And it's kind of the same story for the Giants. And you look at their records and they're kind of identical. The Pirates did start out the season very hot and have cooled off immensely since then. They are slumping in a big way. This win is only their third in their last 10 games, or maybe their second in their last 10 games. They have not been playing very good baseball, but neither have the Giants on offense. Like, the defense is there. The pitching is there, clearly. But when Soler isn't hitting the way he is, and you can't slot him in, or Chapman, or really anybody right now besides, I guess, maybe Patrick Bailey, but you can't slot either of these two big free agents, but Soler specifically is who we're focusing on now, into that 3-hole, which then means when Austin Slater plays, he's going to lead off, and you're going to move Jung-Hoo Lee. If Slater isn't playing for Lee, you're going to move Jung-Hoo Lee into the number 3-hole, because he's the only guy who seems to be able to hit right now. And man, I hate that. I want him as the locked-in leadoff hitter for every single game. He is a tone setter, and I want him at the top of the order. Like, he provides electricity for the rest of the lineup, sets the tone when he gets on base at the top of the inning. This guy is always having battles at the dish, like grinding out at-bats, tons of foul balls. rarely swings and miss, one of the lowest strikeout rates in baseball. You did see him strike out today. I think he actually does have the lowest strikeout rate in baseball right now, so that's kind of a unicorn in and of itself. But Jung-Hoo Lee, I want him number one in the lineup every single day. And as long as Soler is slumping, I don't think the Giants can afford to do that, because you don't really have a true 3-hitter right now. It's concerning when the Giants can't do that. The Bailey, heroics and how well he's been playing. I mean, this last week for Patrick Bailey, he just went absolutely bananas at the plate, and he has moved up ahead of Soler in the batting order because of it. He was 5th tonight in the order. Maybe it's time that he gets moved up into that 4 or 3 slot while he's this hot and everybody else on the team is slumping. I did like what I saw from Michael Conforto. Conforto is proving what he never got an opportunity to prove last year, and that's that he can hit left-handed pitching. Conforto has actually had more home runs against lefties than righties this year. He had another base hit against a left-handed pitcher this year, or in tonight in this one. And I think Conforto needs to be an everyday player. I don't want him rotating in and out. I'm tired of the platoon. And I think Bob Melvin sees that Conforto is doing these things too. I mean, if I can see something, I am more than certain that Bob Melvin has already seen this too. So I just need I need Soler to start hitting, man. I need Jung-Hoo Lee to lock into that leadoff spot, and I need somebody to step up and actually want to be the number 3, number 4 hitters for the San Francisco Giants and start scoring runs. Please, for the love of God, Jorge Soler, let this home run carry you out of this slump and back to the all-star level player that you used to be prior to coming to San Francisco. Please, for the love of God, we need a 30 home run guy. We need a guy who can drive in runs. I don't care if you drive in runs when there are runners on base in scoring position or not. Like, we just need runs, man. We need more production at the plate. And I really think Jorge Soler, if he can turn it on, can revolutionize this Giants offense. Just make it a completely different beast. And I mean, their pitching has been lights out this year. We're going to get into that on the other side. But if this offense can start scoring some runs to support this pitching staff, this Giants team is going to be very good and very tough to beat. Stick with us on the other side. We got to break down the Giants pitching and how great it has been, specifically this Jordan Hicks splitter turning into an elite pitch for the reliever turned starter, the revelation for the Giants pitching staff in 2024. Jordan Hicks has been absolutely lights out on the hill. We're going to break it down on the other side of the Locked On Giants postcast. I am your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We will be right back. It's playoff time in the NBA and NHL. Baseball's in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150 win or lose. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks to Logan Webb for the NL Cy Young. How many times I got to tell you guys this? All on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I am your host, Eric Triple E Engel, and Jordan Hicks, man, another great night from him. 9 strikeouts in 6 innings and no walks, 1 run given up. The Giants as a whole, the Giants starters have been so good. Coming into tonight, 0.69, 0.69, nice ERA over the last 26 innings pitched, their last 5 games. They've struck out 19, walked 6, and allowed only 1 home run in those 26 innings. Giants starters have been absolutely lights out. And over their last 20, Giants have logged an ERA of 3.28. That's the 6th best in the majors. And in the National League specifically, it's the 3rd best, only behind the Phillies and who you saw today, the Pirates. That is all with Blake Snell's dreadful ERA being included. His ERA of 11.57, that's included in that. So without Snell, the Giants in those 17 other games have an ERA of 2.30. That is unreal, man. Unreal. 4 guys, 4 starters, 2.30 ERA. Hicks entered today with a 1.61 ERA. That's the 8th lowest in the majors and the 5th lowest in the National League among qualified starters. Today, Hicks goes 6 innings, 1 run. The same thing that we've come to expect from him. And he's doing it with ground balls and strikeouts. He's this season 55.8 ground ball percentage. He is one of the best in the league at getting those ground balls. He's in the top 10% of baseball in getting those ground ball outs. Tonight, he did it again. I mean, he did have a ton of strikeouts up there. Again, the 9 strikeouts for him, but he did get 8 more groundouts tonight. I mean, Hicks is a machine up there. And I'm not talking, Giants hitting coach Pat Burrell, the machine, which, by the way, I've been meaning to ask you guys this. If anyone knows, please let me know in the comments. But the Giants celebration, when they get like an extra base hit, they do like the thing. If you're watching on the stream, they pull down over the face like they're pulling a mask over, and then they do a zip across the lip. And every time I see it, man, all I can think of is Pat Burrell putting on the machine mask. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But my God, if that's the celebration, then oh my God, that is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. But I'm still trying to figure it out. So that's what I think it is. But if you guys know what it actually is, please let me know in the comments. And like this was but anyways, Hicks is a machine on the hill. Not a Pat Burrell machine, but a machine on the hill. And he is so good at getting these ground balls. The Giants have 3 of the top 7 ground ball pitchers in the majors, including Logan Webb and Keaton Winn. Logan Webb's 3rd. His ground ball rate is 3rd in the majors at 59.7, and Keaton Winn is 4th at 59.5, both just ahead of Hicks. He's been so good, man. So good. Today, the splitter was all he threw pretty much. And this is a pitch that he has thrown throughout his career, but never with this much consistency. And it seems like each game he's ramping this pitch more and more and more and more up in his arsenal. I mean, today he completely abandoned that sweeper and was just throwing 2-seamers, 4-seamers, and split fingers. I mean, that splitter was working today. And this, when you're throwing 2-seam fastballs, aka sinkers, I don't know what the hell the difference between the two is anymore. Baseball seems to think they're the same pitch now, which they're not. But anyways, his 2-seam fastball, which has that great arm side run and that sinking action, plus the sweeper, which also has some sinking action to it. The 4-seamer doesn't really do anything, just comes straight at you, but it's 100 miles an hour. And the split finger is like low 90s with a ton of sink on that thing. If you could make a ground ball pitcher in a lab, like if you were playing MLB The Show, create a player, this is the guy you would make. And he has also got great strikeout stuff. I mean, his fastball run value, top 2% in baseball. He is so good on the mound right now for the Giants. This guy has been a revelation for them. 9 strikeouts tonight, 8 groundouts tonight. I mean, this guy is just mowing people down on the hill. If he can figure out how to pitch a little bit deeper and again, just a little bit deeper, if we can get him to pitch 6 to 7 innings a game instead of 5 to 6 innings a game, that would change how the Giants pitching staff operates. I mean, we talked about the issues that bullpen has had when they need to pitch a long stretch of innings this season. Like when they pitch 3 innings or less, the Giants win a lot of games. Jordan Hicks, he threw 88 pitches tonight in these 6 innings. If he could stretch his arm out to, let's say, 95 pitches and be just a little bit more efficient with those pitches that he is throwing in the earlier innings, he can easily go another inning or 2. Easily. The way he's getting ground ball outs, you don't got to pitch for 9 strikeouts. If he got, let's say, 6 strikeouts or 7 strikeouts and gets 2 or 3 ground ball outs instead of racking up the pitch count to get the strikeout, I think he goes a little bit deeper in the game, and that's pitching, not throwing. And that's the difference between a Logan Webb and a Jordan Hicks. Logan Webb is essentially what Jordan Hicks is trying to turn into. Yeah, they're different guys. I get it. They have different pitching styles, but more or less, they're ground ball pitchers who can reach back and get a strikeout when you need it. Yes, I know Hicks is an absolute flamethrower, and Webb just does not have 100 miles an hour in that arm of his. But Webb is so much more of a cerebral guy when he's on the mound. Keaton Winn is becoming that guy. I want to see Hicks turn into that guy too. If you can pair this great cerebral game to induce ground ball outs with the arm talent, watch out, man. If you can have 3 guys that are all in the top 10, top 8 in baseball in ground ball outs, ground ball rate, that's amazing. I mean, the Giants are going to go a long way with these guys and their staff, and this is all without Blake Snell. If Blake Snell comes back and turns it on, this Giants pitching staff is going to be the best in baseball. Hands down, the best in baseball. Man. I see in the comments you guys are asking about the Flores play where they reviewed it and he was called out. Yeah, he did pop off the base and the glove was held on him and they called him out. I really hate how replay works in that sense now. Like you can just it feels against the spirit of the rule, man. If your cleat moves just like a millimeter off the bag and the guy holds the tag on you, then you're out. Like it just doesn't feel right. Like if you clearly come off the bag and the tag is still on you, then yeah. But I feel like that's one of those things where if it's not called in real time and you have to go back and slow it down that much to see it, should we really be overturning that call? Anyways, I don't think that one really ended up mattering a whole lot. I don't know if the Giants would have actually been able to score Wilmer in that inning. Who knows how that would have turned out. But anyways, Wilmer did try to take that extra base and he got caught. It was a close play, but he was out. Jordan Hicks, another phenomenal start. Wasted, however, the Giants 4-3 loss to the Pittsburgh Pirates in game 2 of this 3-game series. Look to win the rubber match tomorrow. Some day baseball for you out at Oracle Park. We'll come to you live afterwards, as we always do on the Locked On Giants postcast. And until then, that's all the time we have for today. So we will catch you guys tomorrow. Appreciate you tuning in for the show today. Jorge Soler, please show up and bring your damn bat to the yard. Like, we need you to start hitting, man. We really, really, really do. Thanks for joining us on the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us. Peace.